Parakita, Gerd and Suna, Gerd and Suna, Minhaj and Akita, actions speak louder than words, than words.
Sunnah-following kids, come with me.
Gotta work hard to get to heaven. Treat the people good like the prophet would. Parakita, Gerd and Suna, Gerd and Suna, Minhaj and Akita, actions speak louder than words, than words.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I might be a little bit laggy, because we had a snowstorm here and where I live at in Cleveland, and so I might be lagging just a little bit. So it's not your computer, it's my internet, because I can see me lagging. Look, Layla, look. Oh, I'm about a couple of seconds behind myself. Yeah, that's what happens when we have that storm. Okay, I'm waiting on the people to come in. Everybody coming in, new shahadas. Where's the rest of them at? Brother Amir, get him in here. This is your topic, new shahadas. We're going to be speaking about Islamophobia. So many of you don't want to wear hijab, and I'm saying don't want to wear. Because if you wanted to wear it, you do it. I mean, come on, let's just get real. If you really want to do something, you're going to do it. But for you sisters who don't want to wear hijab because you are afraid of what other people will say about you, think of you, or even react to you, subhanallah, it's called Islamophobia. That's what people say. That's this new word that a lot of the Muslims hide behind today, Islamophobia. They want to put it all on Islamophobia. The question is Islamophobia real? Yes, Islamophobia is real. It is something real that you will encounter at some point in your life as a Muslim. The kids here, they encounter it in school with other kids and with some of their teachers. We as adults encounter it at the workplace in our everyday lives. I used to encounter it with my neighbors until I moved back to Cleveland. Cleveland has a large Muslim community, so I don't have a problem. But before I lived in Cleveland, moved back to Cleveland, I was living in Southern Ohio. I lived in the foothills of Kentucky. Oh yeah, those movies that you see about the hills have eyes were based on true stories. The Appalachians, they live up in the hills, the foothills of Kentucky, which is right there on the border of Ohio. Oh, them people crazy. They ain't civilized. They got long beards that come down to the ground. They walk around in coveralls. They carry axes. They talk like this. They speak just like this. This how they talk. You would think they from Texas, but they not. They just from the foothills of Kentucky. They ain't got no teeth. Those movies are real. You got to be careful when you travel through Kentucky and the foothills of Kentucky, which is the border of Ohio. That's why they made them movies. Them people ain't civilized. But I'm going to tell you something. When I lived there, I had to live there for 5 years, the last 5 years before I retired, because I worked for the state. And the developmental center that I worked for closed down. And I had to, with my seniority, I was able to keep my job and relocate. But I had to relocate to the foothills of Kentucky. Oh my God, them people didn't know what to think of me. It's the truth. They didn't know what to think of me. They never seen me. When I was the first minority that they've ever seen in their life, because they never even seen an African American, because we didn't know African Americans lived there. They never seen nobody other than people just like them. So imagine how they felt to see me, a Muslim woman wearing a hijab and a jilbab. Did I care? I wore my hijab and I wore my abayas to work every day. Went to the grocery store looking just like y'all see me looking today. This is me. Always look like this. They would stare at me. They would mutter underneath their breath. They'd come up to me. Ain't you one of those women off of TV? That's how they used to talk. They would ask me, you one of those women on TV? And I would say, what do you mean I'm one of those women on TV? I watch CNN News. They love CNN News. They say on CNN News, you one of them women that's from across the country, across the country. I said, across the country? Do you mean across the ocean? They're not too educated. And I would say, no, I'm from right here. I said, I'm from the shores of America. I said, in fact, I'm from Lake Erie, if you want to know the truth. I said, I'm off the shores of Lake Erie. That's what I told them. They didn't know what Lake Erie was. But anyway, did I care that they had these misconceptions about me, where I was from? She one of those people that walk around blowing up stuff. Oh yeah, that's what they would say. I'd go to the grocery store with my grocery cart. Everybody would back away, whispering. I didn't care. I'd walk, Layla, head held high. And I was very conscious of my surroundings, though. I made sure that I knew what was going on around me, who was around me, and I never let anyone get too close. But they back away from me. She one of those people to walk around with bombs on them. Don't let her say that word. If she yelled at Allahu Akbar, we gonna take her down. So they thought. So I walked around proud, like daring somebody to take me down, but I wasn't stupid. And that's the thing. A lot of Muslims today are stupid when they find themselves in an environment like that. You're in an environment around people who don't know anything about you except what they see on TV. You're around people who are uneducated about the world, about life. You don't provoke them. Now, the average Muslim would have provoked them, would have went around and said, Allahu Akbar, or had their adhan go off. How many of you walk around with those adhans on your cell phone? That's not smart. That's not smart. Because where I lived, in the foothills of Kentucky and Southern Ohio, if one of those alarms had went off with that screaming Allahu Akbar, those hillbillies would have attacked you, men, women, and children, and you'd be in a bad place. They'd have killed you. Nobody would have ever known what happened to you, because just like y'all see in the movies, the eyes have heels and they bury in places where you never find them. So I wasn't stupid. I knew that even though these people had never seen anyone like me, I knew not to provoke their ignorance. So I would never say Allahu Akbar around them. In fact, I made sure that I spoke nothing but plain English around them, because to say anything that they would not understand, because they were so ignorant, it could provoke them to harm me. And this is something that I want every Shahada and young kid listening to me to understand. We don't provoke ignorant people, because as the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, an ignorant person may harm you. So whenever I left the house to go to work or go to the grocery store, I was aware of my surroundings. I carry a can of mace with me. It's legal in my state of Ohio. Some states you can't carry mace. Here in Ohio, you can. So I wasn't stupid. I kept mace in my purse, and I kept my hand where I can get to it if I needed to. And every time I left the house, I walked with my head up high. And I tried to be strong and firm. I tried to be intimidating in my demeanor, because that's why Allah says in the Quran for the Muslim women, when we go out in the public, make your voices loud and strong and intimidating, and make your appearance intimidating. You don't want to be a female out in the public appearing to be scared and weak, because all that does is cause the men to prey upon you. But they're going to think twice when they see this woman in hijab and abaya, beautifully dressed, not like what they see on TV. Beautifully dressed, because Allah loves beauty, and that sets a tone too. That lets them know, wait a minute, wait, is she really like what they say on TV? Oh, she's beautiful. That'll make him stop for a minute. She's not unattractive. And I'm gonna carry myself with dignity. Oh my God, look at her. She acts like she royal. Oh yeah, they used to come to me. They'd ask me, are you from that king? And I'd say, excuse me? You from the royal family? You know, those people over there that wear those dresses, and they wear those white things on their head. You one of them people. You from their family, ain't you? They thought I was royalty, because I'm beautiful and I'm dignified. I'm elegant in my appearance. I'm intelligent. And when I spoke to them, I spoke like this, the way I'm speaking to you guys. I used my regular English, but I made it a little bit more, like this. And they used to say, you don't speak like us. You speak from, I know where you from. You from up north. You speak like you from up north, because I don't have that southern drawl. I say I'm from northern Ohio. This is southern Ohio. They used to say, oh, you closer to New York. I said, Buffalo, New York is only 4-hour drive from where I live. I said, Ottawa, Canada is only a 2-hour drive. Because they weren't, like I said, they weren't too educated. But, what happened was that fear that they originally had of me, it turned into a curiosity, because I looked like what they saw on TV, but then again, I didn't. And I didn't behave like the people on TV. I was very polite with them. I would answer their questions in a respectable manner, but I also let them know, don't get too close. It's a balance we have to take. And when I went to work, the same thing. All my coworkers were in awe of me. They'd never seen anyone like me, And the fact that I was also a union rep, that made a big difference too, because I had the ability to save their jobs, and they liked that too. And I represented them with justice. I didn't allow my personal views of them and their uneducation to stand in the way of me when I had to represent them in hearings and arbitrations and mediations. Yeah, I'm a legal investigator, paralegal as well, a paralegal investigator. And I won all my cases with them. And that also changed their misconception. So the point here is Islamophobia. It's real. It's real. But we have to address it. Address it the way the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam addressed it, because it's not new. The Prophet Muhammad lived amongst Islamophobia. The companions lived amongst Islamophobia. Islamophobia is not new, and it's never going to go away. There's going to be Islamophobia when the Mahdi comes, when Jesus rules. Even though the whole world will embrace Islam, there'll still be that phobia of the true Islam. So it's never going to go away. But as Muslims, we have to know how to deal with it. And it all begins when you're young. So let me put this PowerPoint up on the screen. And again, this is taken from the book written by my student, Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk. Yes, he's one of my students. I have male students. He's one of them. Yeah, when Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk converted to Islam, he took his shahada. He was given his shahada by my teacher, Sheikh Abu Atayib. And he belongs to my teacher, Sheikh Morsi, which is his kunya is Abu Atayib. He's part of his community. And when Sheikh Morsi gave him shahada, he told him, go learn from my student. He told him, my best student is Sister Layla Nashiba. And Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk has been here ever since, which is over almost 30 years. He's learned everything from me. Alhamdulillah. And so this is the book. It's entitled Dunya. And this is not a children's book. This book is written for adults, but to show just how Islam is a beautiful way of life that appeals to anyone with common sense. Even though this is an adult book, the children here are learning from it as well. Okay, so this is the book. And tonight I'm going to be covering the 18th chapter, which addresses what I'm speaking about in my introduction, which is known as Islamophobia. Islamophobia is real, and all of us as Muslims will encounter it. So, I'm hitting the wrong button. I keep forgetting I got two computers. So what exactly is Islamophobia? New shahadas, pay attention. Islamophobia, it's the fear, the hatred, or prejudice against Islam and Muslims that people have out of ignorance, like those Appalachians had about me. And it's often accompanied by discrimination and mistreatment towards you because you are a Muslim, because they don't understand you, your lifestyle. They may treat you badly. This fear, this hatred, this discrimination is real, and it can become violent. It can present itself in violence. That's why we have to be careful and be conscious of our surroundings. It can also present itself through hate speech, where people tease you or say bad things about you because you're a Muslim. Like I said, you may experience discrimination on your job. The kids experience bad treatment at the schools, and all of that. That's the danger of having a fear of someone based on what you've heard about them or what the media has shown you about them when you've never met a person like that in real life. So this is a bad thing, to fear someone because of their religion, because of their way of life. Okay, this will bring about prejudice, and it could lead to harm. For example, in our way of life, we have nothing to do with LGBTQ. LGBTQ is one of the worst sins. However, our way of life teaches us to know that it's something that Allah dislikes. But our way of life teaches us, Allah teaches us, we don't go around harming people because of it either. We just distance ourselves. You know that a kid in school is LGBTQ. You know to distance yourself from him. But that doesn't mean that you go around calling him names, that you go around treating him badly, beating him up, doing bad things to them. We don't behave that way in Islam. We understand as Muslims that most of the people in the world are upon a lifestyle that contradicts ours, but that doesn't give us the right or authority to harm them, because Allah is just. He's the creator of everything, good and evil. And Allah tells us that he creates good and evil as a way of testing you and testing me to see how we will act in regards to them. Are we going to uphold the laws of Islam and not bully and not tease and not harm that kid over there because his family is stupid enough to allow him to be LGBTQ? That's his business. Okay? So, but non-Muslims are not trained to do what we do. You know, they're ignorant. And this can lead to a lot of problems for us. Okay? So I want everyone listening to me, the new shahadas, as well as the kids, to understand that hate crimes is real. Islamophobia is real. It happens all the time, bad things. For example, in America, there was a 17% rise in hate crimes against Muslims in the year 2017. In the United Kingdom, the rise was 26% in 2018. As you can imagine, those statistics are higher today in 2024. So hate crimes do happen. They do happen. And as we know, the world views us as being terrorists. Why? For many reasons. Out of ignorance, and also there are some bad Muslims out there. There are some very, very, very bad Muslims out there. We all know that. And these bad Muslims, they make Islam look bad. And all it takes is one bad apple to spoil it for the rest of us. As our prophet said, we are all different bricks of a building. If one brick is missing, we all suffer the consequences. If one Muslim commits a crime, it makes us all look bad. So we're viewed today with fear. A lot of Muslims who are bad contributed to that, and also the ignorance, like the ignorance of those Appalachians I lived amongst. They knew nothing except what CNN shows. So we have to be aware that this stuff exists. These bad feelings against us exist. That's why as parents, you have to teach these kids from the age of 6 to be conscious. Teach your children to be conscious of the hatred against them. My mother taught me. I grew up in the 1960s. That was the era of civil rights in America. All minorities were oppressed, were discriminated against, in prison, jail. My mother always told me, be conscious of your environment, be conscious of your surroundings, be conscious of the people. Know that they're always watching you. So you have eyes in the back of your head. You have eyes at the side of your head. Be conscious. And don't allow people to get so close to you. If you think they're getting too close to you, run. My mother told me when I was a kid. She said, if you see people walking up, following you, getting too close to you, run and seek help. Scream, holler, and run. Okay? Again, Islam is the answer to how to handle everything. Allah teaches us how to handle racism, discrimination, Islamophobia. Allah teaches us that we don't allow the ignorance of others to cause us to stoop to their level. Just like those Appalachians. They were fearful of me. They were ignorant. They thought I walked around with a bomb on me. I would have been stupid to let an adhan go off saying Allahu Akbar in the grocery store. That would have been ignorance. I would have stooped to their level. Okay? Islam teaches us to combat evil with good. So even those who carry a hatred against us, you know, we have to learn how to balance that out, because who knows? That person may end up becoming a Muslim through watching how you handle your relationships with others. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's the example for us. How did he deal with Islamophobia? Well, listen to how our Prophet dealt with it. Allah sent down the verses of the Quran where Allah says, invite to the way of your Lord, and invite with wisdom and good instructions. And if you have to argue with the people, argue with them in the way that is best. That's not going to lead to violence. That's not going to lead to strengthening their hatred against you. Okay? So here we can see that Allah instructed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to speak out against injustice the way I'm telling you guys to. Let the people know I'm not a terrorist. You know, most of the things you see on TV about me are not true, because I'm nothing like what you see. The TV is showing you the bad people, and there's bad people of every religion. There's bad people of every group, every race, every sect. They don't show you the good people. So Allah tells us to show the people, to speak out against the injustice and show them the true way of Islam. And if they get too ignorant, then walk away from them. Like my mother told me, walk away, run away. As Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, take what is given freely, enjoying what is good, and turn away from the ignorant. We don't sit there and debate and argue with ignorant people. When I walked into the grocery store for the first time, everybody, the cashiers, the people in the stock, they were all Appalachian white people. Appalachian white people. They were shocked. Their mouths fell to the ground. They never in their life seen a person like me. When one man walked up to me and said, "You're one of them women like on TV. You got a bomb on you?" I smiled and said, "No, I don't walk around with a bomb." I said, "I just simply live like you. I work like you. And I'm trying to buy groceries." And I just turned my cart around and walked away from him. But I had my hand on my mace, and I was watching him out of my peripheral vision to make sure he wasn't going to follow me, to make sure he wasn't going to try to come at me. Okay? But to argue with him, because he asked me if I had any bombs underneath my garments. No, I just laughed and walked away. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever you see a bad action, change it with your hand by taking action against it. And if you can't do that, then by speaking out against it. And if you can't then do that, then by hating it in your heart. These people looked at me in that whole city I lived in. I lived in a small town, a town in the foothills of Ohio and Kentucky. The whole town didn't know what to think of me. Okay, but eventually they began to know that I'm nothing like TV. Eventually, I could go to the grocery store and do my shopping, and they would say, "Good morning, Miss Nashiba. Lovely day, isn't it? Oh, you have such beautiful clothing on today." Eventually, the young teenage kids would come up to me and ask me, and can y'all believe it? "Are you a model? What model agency do you work for?" And I was like, "A model?" They say, "You look so beautiful. Your dresses. What type of model are you?" Eventually the little kids would come up to me and smile and offer me their candy, or would you like to buy Girl Scout cookies from us? And I would buy a box just to show them I'm not the mean ogre that TV wants them to think. So remember, the prophet said the best struggle are words spoken as truth to an oppressive ruler. These people would have been oppressive people against me, but I combated their ignorance with kindness, with politeness, with dignity. From the way I carried myself, they knew not to get close to me. They knew not to try to attack me because I was very intimidating. You guys know, as my students, I am a very intimidating person. I put on a big act. I'm a master intimidator. I learned how to be a master intimidator. I went to school for it. It was part of investigating. To be a legal investigator, you have to learn how to be a master at intimidation. I perfected that. So I knew how to intimidate where they would never try to attack me. But the best struggle in the way of Allah are words of truth spoken to those people who could hurt you, those people who could be oppressive towards you. And finally, guys, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us true dawah is from your actions, not your words. By taking good actions, good manners, this is how you promote positive aspects of our religion. The way you smile at the kids, the way you say good morning when you pass by a person in the street, that's giving them dawah. That's showing them, oh, she's not a terrorist. The way you buy a box of Girl Scout cookies, even if you don't want them, but to show that I can support a good cause too. That's dawah. By taking these type of approaches, we demonstrate the authentic teachings of Islam, and we set the record true about what we are. You new Shahada women who are afraid to wear hijab, you need to put your hijab on, put your abayas on, and go to work and show them what a better person you are today than you were before you were Muslim. The fact that you don't drink anymore, the fact that you're not smoking marijuana, you're not backbiting, you're not scheming to set up your coworkers, the fact that you don't party, that you do the best to be the best worker that you can be. That's dawah. That's showing the people how Islam changed you to a better person. You're more modest in your appearance and you're more modest in your actions. Why are you afraid of the truth? I keep telling y'all the truth. Islam is the truth. It's a lifestyle based on truth, and it's a bitter pill for people to swallow. So now, that brings us to the question for this week concerning Islamophobia. What is something that you can do to help non-Muslims see that we as Muslims are not bad people? I use the example of how I would buy, Girl Scout cookies from the kids, even though I can't stand Girl Scout cookies. They used to be good years ago. They don't taste like they used to. The world has changed. So let's look at the kids. I'm switching to another computer. I'm working 3 computers here. So let's see from the kids, what's something that we can do? Sister Anaya, what's something that you can do to help non-Muslims see that Muslims are not bad people?
By not stealing.
MashaAllah, by not stealing. A lot of kids steal in school. If you got a nice ink pen and you don't take it with you, you leave it on the desk because you forget it, somebody's going to steal it. But the fact that you find the ink pen and give it back to the person, that's showing them that I'm not the bad person. I'm the honest person. I didn't take your ink pen, but I found it and I returned it to you. Good job, Anaya. Asma and Najma, what's something that you two can do that'll help the non-Muslims see that we're not bad people, that we're not terrorists, that we're nothing like the TV says? Go ahead. Asma and Najma.
You can just be nice to them.
Yes, just simply being nice. Go ahead. You want more to add to it? Go ahead.
You can help people in need.
Exactly. Be nice to people. Be nice to that kid in the classroom who's maybe a little bit slower than everybody else. Help that kid who's having a hard time with her math problems. You can help her, show her how to add better or subtract better. Good job. Sister Nora, what's something that you can do to help a non-Muslim see that we're not bad people, that people think we are?
Respecting your neighbors.
Wow, that's a great answer. You want to know why, guys? Because a lot of people are disrespectful. A lot of Muslims today have no respect. Look at how the children disrespect their parents. Look at how the grown adults come into my Zoom room or come into my YouTube channel and they curse me and disrespect me. And I'm an old lady, old enough to be their great-great-grandmother. So to be respectful to your neighbors and to others, this is one of the best ways to show non-Muslims that we're not the bad people that TV wants us to be. Okay, Sister Isra's kids, let me hear what you kids have, what answers you have.
Allah loves those that always be honest and just.
MashaAllah, exactly. Allah loves those who are honest and just. You don't want to lie, guys. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad said the believer is capable of committing any sin except for one. The true believer can never lie. Be honest in your dealings with others. Be honest in your dealings with others, and be trustworthy. Be a person that people can trust. Any other answers from Isra's kids, my babies?
No.
I'm so proud of y'all. Go ahead, let me hear, baby.
Respect your cousin.
Respect your cousin. Boy, he got a little accent. You learning your language, ain't you? You learning how to speak your Somali, right?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you because you got that beautiful accent, my babies. Those Isra's babies. Isra's my best student, y'all know her and Pfizer. My babies. Can y'all believe these kids grew up? I remember when she was pregnant with both of them. Lord have mercy. Yeah, by the way, old students that used to come here 30 years ago, y'all remember Isra? Israel was a little kid. She was what?
I remember Israel.
Yeah, y'all remember her? She was like 13.
She used to teach the kids.
Yeah, she taught the kids, but she was 13 or 12 years old when she started coming here. That's how long she been coming here. Now look at her. She got kids. She married and got babies. You older adults, y'all left my website and followed the innovators. Israel stayed, and look at her. She bringing in more imams in this world. Okay, mashallah. Okay, Sister Tahira, what's something that you can do to help non-Muslims see that Muslims are not bad people?
You can compliment other people's outfits.
Oh, wow, you can comment on their outfits? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, guys. How many of us think to say, oh, what a beautiful hat you have on today? When I was outside today cleaning off my car, you guys know we had a snowstorm here in Cleveland. You know. Well, Layla went outside to get the snow off her brand new SUV 2025. Oh, yeah. Girl, that was a lot of work. You talk, it took me an hour to clean that snow off I got to get me a garage too. I said, but that's what, $50 extra a month. I'm going to get a garage, inshallah. But I had to clean that snow off that SUV. And while I was cleaning off my snow, one of my neighbors came out of her house to do her car. And she had on a pretty snow hat. I said, oh my God, that snow hat is so cute. And she looked at me and smiled and said, thank you. She said, and that scarf you have on is beautiful. You see how it passes forward. A kind word. She could have been having a hard day like me. She probably didn't want to come out there and know it's 20 degrees outside. That's cold. And it's hard for a woman to clean an SUV. You got to reach up. It's snow everywhere. It's she probably didn't want to do it like I did. So the simple fact that I told her she had a cute hat on, that made her day. How many of us compliment people on the clothes they wear? Just tell them, oh, what a beautiful coat. Oh, what a nice pair of shoes. This is giving dawah. This is showing that we are not the terrorists that people think we are. Good answer, Tahira. Okay, Sister Elma's daughter. What's something that we can do to help the non-Muslims see that we're not bad people?
To control our anger.
Exactly. Control our anger.
Mr. Layla,
Uh-huh.
I came back from the hospital.
Yeah, you back home from the hospital? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, I figured you would be at home by now. I didn't think they were going to keep you much longer. Alhamdulillah. Has your arm still swollen up? Huh?
I got 2 little baby birds.
You got baby birds? Oh, mashallah. Who gave them to your mom?
But my grandma has stuff.
Your grandmother gave them to you?
No. So my dad brought them.
Oh, mashallah.
My dad.
Oh, mashallah, your Abu. That is so sweet. Well, that's good. I'm sure you're going to take good care of them. How's your arm? Is it swollen? Is it black and blue?
No, because they couldn't be in my hand anymore because the blood was not coming out, so they did my feet.
Oh, God. Did you like the feet being done? Did it hurt?
Not really.
I didn't either. Yeah, I don't like the feet or the hand. Oh, my goodness, poor baby. But alhamdulillah, you made it through. And your daddy gave you some birds, mashallah. That I'm sure you're going to take care of them. Alhamdulillah. And like go ahead.
I think other kids now want to ask him answers.
Okay, but y'all heard her answer. Not showing anger. That's the hardest thing. Like our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's hard for us as Muslims to control our emotions. That's one thing that the Christians have over us. They control their emotions better than we do. We become so emotionally distraught. You know, we don't know how to control our anger. We don't know how to control it. So we'll end up hitting someone or calling someone a bad name. We have to be careful of that, guys. You know, show the people how patient we are. You know, that changes their misconception, because they think that because we're Muslims, we're angry and anyway. So we have to show them that we're not. Good job, baby. Okay, Sister Amalia, what's something that you can do to help the non-Muslims see that we're not such bad people? Amalia.
Like when someone needs something, you can just get them it. Like let's say if they're missing something, you can like give them to it.
Exactly, guys. Just help someone get something that they need. You know, say for example, even in the grocery store, you see a lady trying to reach a box of cereal. She's having a hard time getting it because maybe she's got arthritis. So you say, excuse me, let me get it for you. That's something nice. That's something easy. The simple fact that you are a kid and you went and helped that adult to grab something that they couldn't reach, that's showing them, oh, wow, they'll remember that it was the Muslim girl. That Muslim girl in that beautiful scarf helped me to reach up and get that box of cereal. MashaAllah. That happened to me with the Appalachians. When I was in the grocery store one day, I was trying to reach up to grab the cat litter. I couldn't reach it. So one of the Appalachian men with a long beard, he reached up and said, let me help you here, Maya. He got it for me. And I said, oh, thank you. He gave me dawah. He was showing me that not all Appalachian men are scary. So that's a great thing to help someone that needs help. Brother Shuaib and Hidra. My Shuaib is here. What's something that you and your sister could do to help non-Muslims see that we're not bad people?
If someone's in a wheelchair, help them cross the street.
MashaAllah, y'all hear that? There's a lot of people who are paralyzed that are in wheelchairs. They can't get around well. So you help that person in the wheelchair to get across the street, or you help that kid that's in the wheelchair. That's something great, guys. And I'm sure a lot of us see people who are walking with canes or wheelchairs who got a disability. Other people make fun of them. You're not going to make fun. Instead, you're going to ask, do they need help? That's showing that the Muslims are not the scary people that they think. Good answer, Shuaib. And Sister Sabrina, what's something that you can do to help the non-Muslims see that Muslims are not bad people?
Well, what you can do is like, you really don't have to do much. All you have to do is just come in with a good attitude and say good morning and say hello, and you just follow directions. If others are not, you don't have to bother, and then people will realize. It takes a little time for people to realize that you're a good person. So then if others come in and say that person's bad, they'll be like, no, she's actually a great person.
You guys hear that answer? That's why I like to save her for last, because her answers are just wow. MashaAllah. Yeah. Exactly. She said it's all about attitude. And she's correct. If you have a positive, good attitude, that's going to emulate. Remember, the prophet said whatever is in your heart is going to show itself through your actions. Attitude, that's your heart. If you got a good attitude, it's going to show in all your actions, so that when people do say something bad about a Muslim, they can say, wait a minute, I know a girl in my school. She's so polite. She doesn't act that way. She doesn't speak that way. She's the smartest one in the class. And she's always polite. So I know those things can't be true about those people, because I have this girl in my class that I've been going to school with for 4 years, and I've never seen anything but the opposite of that behavior from her. So attitude is everything, because as our prophet said, whatever is in the heart, and that's your attitude, is going to show through the rest of the body parts. Mashallah. Very, very, very good answers. And that brings us to the hadith for tonight. And this hadith is the hadith about actions speaking louder than words. You may have heard your parents say that. You may have heard your parents say, don't you know that actions speak louder than words? Well, it's based on the authentic hadith of Sufyan ibn Abdullah. May Allah be pleased with him. He said, I asked the Prophet one day, I said, oh, Prophet of Allah, tell me something in Islam, after which, hearing it from you, no one else would be able to tell me this. In other words, only you know this, not anyone else. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, okay. He said, don't just say that you believe in Allah. Don't just say La ilaha illallah. Don't just say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. In other words, don't just say you believe in Allah and you believe that I am the last messenger sent. He said, but say it and mean it. He said, say it and show it. Because basically actions speak louder than words. There's a lot of Muslims today who declare La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. But if you look at their Facebook pages, they're disobeying Allah. You see them, the women dressed inappropriately, the men dressed inappropriately. You see them smoking cigarettes, listening to music, partying, dating. Okay? Actions speak louder than words. They say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, but they really are not showing it, not through their behavior. We have to understand, guys, Allah says in the Quran, just because we say we believe in him is not enough. We have to prove it. Prove it through our actions. And Allah is going to test us with our actions. He's going to send trials our way to see if we will submit to him. So remember this hadith here. Actions speak louder than words. I'm not going to just say I'm a Muslim. I'm going to be a Muslim. I'm going to be a person that submits to Allah. That's what Muslim means. I'm going to obey Allah in everything he commands. I'm going to stay away from everything he tells me to stay away from. And I'm going to do the things he suggests that I do. That's having my actions speak louder than words. So alhamdulillah, mashallah. This was a very good class today for the new shahadas and the kids. I want you guys to implement this hadith for the rest of this week. Check your actions. For you sisters who are new shahadas and you're not covering up, the kids in my website, they wear hijabs. These girls are all covering up. Sabrina goes to school with a hijab on. Hassan, all these kids are covering up. Tahira, Shamsa's kids. These girls are over the age of 6 and they cover up. Any female that's 6 years old and older should be wearing hijab and abayas. If these young girls can do it, what's wrong with you 40, 30, 40, and 50-year-old women that you can't do it? Actions speak louder than words. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. This brings us to the conclusion of this class. Just to let everybody know, my 6:30 class will be doing the sins of disbelief. And then at 9:30 tonight, the sacred bonds of marriage. At 4 p.m., for those with the invitation only, we have the exercise class with Sister Juania in our Zoom room, but that's only for those sisters who have been invited to participate. All right. So I'm going to log out for tonight. For now. I'll be back at 6:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Subhanakallahumma.
Sister Layla. See you later.
Okay, baby, and you get you some rest too. Okay?
Okay, because it's nighttime.
Yeah, it's nighttime. Yeah, you get you some sleep. Okay,
I like coming. Even though it's nighttime, I love coming to your
I do too.
classes.
I love to hear your voice too, especially when I know what you've been through at the hospital. I'm so proud of you.
I'm 7 now. I'm not 6, I'm 7.
You're 7 and she wears hijab, guys, every day. What's wrong with you new women, you new Shahada grown women? This little 7-year-old girl. Wa alaikum salam, baby. Okay. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, baby. Go ahead.
So I had seen some kids in my class that like very big, like 11 or something, that are Muslim, still don't wear hijab.
Yeah, 11 year. Well, these women are in their 30s and 40s, and they won't wear hijab. They scared. Something wrong with them, ain't it? That's a shame. The 7-year-old girls are wearing hijabs.
What time does this class start?
This class is every day. Well, today it started at 6:30. Yes, at 6:30. I put a thing out saying it would. Not 6:30. I'm sorry, 2:30. Yeah, I put a thing out saying I would be at 2:30.